My friends, this video is not for the faint of heart. And this particular video is not for those who easily get offended. And this video is not for those who are not radically in love with Jesus. If you're not radically in love with Jesus, you'll probably walk away from this video offended and angry and everything that Jesus doesn't want you to be. But I wanted to approach a topic that's tough, and that is, how do you deal with violence? How do you respond to violence around you? In particular, I'm thinking about the school in Texas where a gunman walked in and started shooting students, killed two adults as well, and many people died. A school is traumatized, and really a nation is traumatized. And every school that I know of has sent reactions home to parents by way of email. I'm talking about security and talking about clamping down and talking about doing everything they can to provide a safe environment for our children. But I want to take it to a personal level and ask you, how do you deal with violence when it happens? I think it's real easy for any of us to do the wrong thing. And the wrong thing, and this is my opinion, the wrong thing is to isolate. The wrong reaction is to try to control guns like that's possible. The wrong thing is to try to run off by ourselves and clamp down and try to make things more and more secure. Isolation doesn't help. Hate doesn't help. Placing blame doesn't help. It only fuels the darkness inside of us. So how are we, as Christ followers, as Jesus followers, looking to respond in the midst of situations like this? I believe we are called to have a supernatural reaction. We are to have a supernatural response to the violence around us. And Jesus outlines it. And these are hard words to bear in times like this. But I believe we need to trust our Lord, who responded to the violence around him with mercy. Mercy, compassion, love. And that's what he calls you and I to do. He calls us not to isolate, but to gather in community. He calls us not to try to clamp down on security, but move into deeper trust in him and our Father in heaven. He calls us not to hate and shame and guilt other people. He calls us to love them. And I think that's the hardest thing of all. When somebody has done the kind of things that happened out there at that school in Texas, Jesus, how can you possibly command us, not ask us, but command us to move into that situation with love for everybody? Friends, I'm asking you to take this up in prayer before the Lord, to ask Jesus to move into your heart, to teach you how best to respond to the violence in the world around us. I don't know, what else to say right off the bat, except I do want to lift up this piece from Matthew chapter 5. And it's a little long, but it's Jesus' words. And I really do hope they point you in a direction that's helpful and that's fruitful and builds community in your life. Jesus chapter 5, starting in verse 43. You are familiar with the old written law, love your friend, and its unwritten companion, hate your enemy. I'm challenging that. I'm telling you to love your enemies. Let them bring out the best in you, not the worst. When someone gives you a hard time, respond with the energies of prayer, for then you are working out of your true selves your God-created selves. This is what God does. He gives his best, the sun to warm and the rain to nourish to everyone, regardless of the good and bad, the nice and nasty. If all you do is love the lovable, do you expect a bonus? Anybody can do that. If you simply say hello to those who greet you, do you expect a medal? Any run-of-the-mill sinner can do that. Your kingdom subjects, now live like it. Live out of your God-created identity. Live generously and graciously toward others the way that God lives towards you. My friends, I'm praying for you. I'm praying there be peace in your heart. And I cannot wait to hear how you are responding to violence and all the negative stuff in the world around you with the energies of prayer, love, and community. God bless you, and God willing, I'll see you tomorrow.